Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. All right, finally, it's Q&A Tuesday. So, I'm going to start off this, before I start getting into any of the questions, I'm going to start off with a special message, okay? Because I've been getting a lot of emails about this. I've been getting a lot of emails lately, more emails now than ever before, I think, because my subscribers is going up, which thanks guys, thank you so much. I really truly appreciate it. It means so much to me that I can share my profession that I love so much with everybody. But here's the thing. So I've been getting lots of emails from people saying that, after they watched my videos, that they said, well, maybe that medical coding isn't for them, and they feel overwhelmed and they're just stressed out thinking about medical coding. Okay, so here's the thing. When I first started over a decade ago, and I was in school, I didn't have access to any of this stuff. There was not, maybe if there was, I just didn't know about it, because you guys know I'm not technologically advanced. But all of this technology stuff wasn't really big back then. Like there was some of it, but it wasn't as popular or prevalent as it is now, okay, where everybody has their smartphones and, you can just, back then it was like you had to pay for the minutes on your phone. I mean? There was no data plans, what I mean? That's the thing it was back then. And to think how far we've come in a decade with technology. But I didn't have access to other coders back then. All I had access to was whoever came in to do the lecture for us, and that was it. So I didn't know anything about the field before getting in. The only thing I knew was what other people at the school were telling me. Okay. Now I had gone to 3 different trade schools to find out about medical coding, and 2 of the trade schools talked about money right away, and like that was supposed to entice me and things like that. So the 3rd school that I ended up picking was the one that talked about the actual program, what medical coding was, what it involved, and things like that. So part of the goal of this channel, in my mind, okay, when I started it over a little over a year ago, because I believe it was in April of last year, but I didn't really get into posting a lot of videos and stuff more frequently until this year. In February is when I started being more consistent with posting. But part of the thing back then when I wanted to start this channel was I wanted coders or people who were going to be new to the field to have access to somebody that they could ask questions to. And a lot of times when you're around your coworkers, it's a little harder, okay, because you don't want to, there's people that don't want to look like they don't know anything with their coworkers. And it's understandable. Sometimes some coworkers, they're not as supportive. Some don't want to help new coders or other veteran coders. They don't want to help because they just want to do their thing and leave, and that's it. I am a helper. That is me. That is my nature. That is what I do. So I wanted to have that where people could ask questions. I wanted to be able to explain what this field was, what it was about, and things like that to new people that were coming into the field. Because so many people, when I first started, were like, oh yes, I'm going to this program. They said I'm going to make all of this money and it's going to be so easy. And I'm like, whoa, Nelly, you know what I mean? Like, it is not that easy. Like, what are you talking about, all of this money? You still have to understand what you're doing. Now, think about this. You are working with doctors who have been through years of schooling. Now, there are some of us that have degrees, and there are some of us that only have our high school diploma or a GED. So when you are working with people that are highly educated, this means that you've got to up your game. You've got to be as highly educated too. Truth be told, right? We don't go through years of schooling like they do with medical school, but we still have to sort of bring our knowledge up to a certain point where we can understand what's going on. This is why we have to take a class in anatomy and physiology and medical terminology and pathophysiology and pharmacology, so we can understand what these doctors are talking about. This knowledge comes with time. When doctors start in medical school, they don't know everything. They don't know how to do surgeries a lot of times. They don't know how to do all this stuff. Why? Because they spend years learning. I have been in this industry for over a decade. So all of my knowledge is what I'm bringing you guys. So if you're feeling overwhelmed just from, I don't know if it's just from watching my videos or maybe just researching and hearing things from people, but what I'm being honest with you guys about what I've been through, my experiences, and what I would suggest. These are the things that I share with you guys that I wish somebody would have told me in the beginning so that it would be, more efficient. That's all I'm doing is sharing that. If you find that by listening to my things that you find that this is not the field for you, good. You know why? Because this means that you know your limitations, you know what you are willing and not willing to do, and you know what's going to make you happy. I am a reader. I just happen to study. This is me personally. I'm not saying that everybody needs to do 20 hours like I do every week of study. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is the more knowledge you have and the more you invest in learning things like that, the easier it will be, because then you can better understand what's going on in the documentation. This stuff takes time. There's people that don't even do this. There's people that spend their entire careers not doing this, okay? Because for whatever reason, maybe they have easier clinics. I've always been in more complex clinics. I've always had that. When I started my second job, my first job was at the cancer center, and of course, the cancer center, when you're coding for oncology, it's not an easy specialty. You have to know things. And that was my first job. Did I know everything? Heck no. When I got to my second job, I worked inpatient professional services. So the rules are a little bit different because it's inpatient, but it's outpatient. So it's like you have to sort of wrap your head around just different rules. And when you have to wrap your head around different rules, it's like, okay, this wasn't straightforward stuff. And when I got to that place, when I had got to that facility, my supervisor asked me, hey, do you want to do inpatient professional services? And I said yes. I said yes because I was brand new. I'm not going to say no. I'm willing to take the challenge. Okay, because mentally I am okay with doing things that are harder and it gives me more of a challenge. That is what drives me. Everybody's journey in medical coding is different, from how we are trained to how we study and how we prepare ourselves. Everybody's journey is different. But I was willing to say yes because I'm not going to put up a barrier that says I'm afraid and I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Why? I would have never have learned all this other stuff that I know now. And having that experience working inpatient professional services when I got to where I currently am is what helped me to get into where I currently am, because they needed people who knew that specialty. Because even my supervisor back then was like, people do not want to do this. And I'm like, why? And she's like, they said it's too hard. Well, if you're automatically going in with that mentality thinking, I don't want to do this, this is too hard, that's what's going to stay there, okay? It's all about that mind-body connection, and I've talked about that before, mind-body connection. It is about the mind-body connection. If you automatically equate something that it's going to be hard, guess what? It's going to be hard. If you are willing to say, you know what? This seems difficult, but I am ready for the challenge. Guess what happens? You just put one foot in front of the other. It's like when I posted that meme about when you fall down, you just got to get right back up. Same thing. If you fall, you got to get right back up. And that's with any profession. This profession is worthwhile as medical coding because it's intellectually stimulating. And you get to have these conversations with these people that are so educated. When I talk with my providers and I get into these conversations with them about what's going on with this and what's going on, and I'm completely fascinated. But that's That's what fascinates me. If you feel like this is not for you, and you find this out now before you start going through a medical coding program and you start investing all this money and getting these student loans or getting these loans or whatever, if you find this out beforehand, isn't that better to know that now rather than to go through a whole program and get into a field that you are not going to enjoy and that nobody told you? Because I've gotten those emails as well where people say, well, I wish I had never gotten into medical coding because so many times people told me about the money in the beginning. I did it for the money, and now I'm in it and I can't stand it. I wish I was in another field. Well, think about all the time that person spent studying, getting ready for an exam, the anxiety of an exam, all the money that they spent on the school. If they had just had somebody to be honest with them and truthful, and then they in turn be honest and truthful with themselves as far as like they are willing or not willing to go with it, isn't that better? I mean, I think it's better. I would want somebody to be honest with me. That was why I picked that third school, because they were honest with me about what it was. And she even told me, this is a tough program. Not everybody gets through this program. But if you stick with it, the reward is there. You just have to be patient. And I remember this lady telling me this. So again, I'm going to continue to be honest with people. And if you are honest with yourself and you feel like this is not the field for you, I commend you for being honest with yourself and knowing what it is that you want for your life. Only you can decide, and not to be, this maybe sounding cliche or anything like that, but only you can decide what is best for you in your life, what is going to make you happy. And you should do things that make you happy. In the beginning, did I feel like, oh my gosh, I won the lottery, I'm a medical coder? No, I didn't feel like that. This is a relationship with my profession that has grown over a decade. And it's grown and it's been so fruitful for me. And now I can share it with all of you. I can share it with the world. I look at all the countries that my videos go to and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's people thousands of miles away from me that are watching these videos, and either it's helping them or it's making them understand something, or maybe it's helping them to know that medical coding is not for them. Medical? Who says that? Medical coding is not for them. I couldn't ask for more. And I always say now, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. That is how I feel now. I feel like that now because I learn something every day and I invest in myself. I make the choice to invest in myself. And I have made that choice. And the result is me truly enjoying what I do. Because there was a time in the beginning where I thought this is a job. And now my mindset is, no, this is a career. It is a career. It's an investment. This is what I'm doing. I'm spending 40 hours a week doing this. This is what I get paid to do. You got to find some joy in that. If you have a job that you hate and you do it for 20 years, where are you getting the joy in your life? And now I have other things now before anybody says anything. Oh, it's only the job, blah, blah, blah. No. I do plenty of things, okay? I have a lot of talents. I have more talents than I share on here because the channel is about medical coding. But I do a lot in my life, okay? I love to cook. I love to travel. I love doing different things. And there's a lot of things about me that I don't share on here. Of course, you guys have heard some of my stories about my life, with my mom, when she was alive, may she rest in peace. But, there are, or the stories from work, the stories with my coworkers, the stories with Dr. X, and, just experiences that I've had, with working with other industries, when I delivered phone books for a living, and I had that one older man that asked me what part of Mexico was I from, you know what I mean? And people would think that I was going to be offended, and I'm not, because I'm not from Mexico. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, really, and I've experienced so many things, and I've shared some of it on here, but like I said, this channel is about medical coding, and I'm going to share what I wish people would have told me when I first started. If I would have known back then, hey, pick up a New England Journal of Medicine, or hey, make sure that you're reading those journals from AHIMA. Because a lot of times in the very beginning, I'd maybe skim it, and that was it. I never really thought or to invest time and just take an afternoon and sit down and read. Never thought about it back then. And now I think about it now, I'm like, So that's why I share it with all of you guys. But if you find yourself getting overwhelmed, don't let me overwhelm you. Whatever you do, I'm just trying to help, And if you find that it's not for you, it's okay. It's okay. There's plenty of other professions. There's lots of other things you can do, Just depending on what you want to do with your life. It is really all about your life. No one can tell you how to live, how to be happy, or what a good profession would be for you. But there's plenty of good trades out there. You see those memes all the time about, that they have these professions and they didn't take any degrees or things like that, like welders and things like that. These are good professions. Paralegals make really good money. Accountants make good money. I mean, there's just a myriad of things that you can do. But medical coding is all about reading comprehension and reading and understanding and knowing and investing and being committed to always learning. That is what it is all about. So I think I'm going to do Q&A Tuesday on another episode, but I just wanted to say that. I wish everybody luck. I really do. If you want to do medical coding and you find my videos helpful, thank you. I appreciate that. If you find my videos helpful because it's helping you to decide not to do medical coding, that's wonderful too. I take that as wonderful too, because you know what? Then I stop somebody from making a mistake. You can ask all kinds of questions if you want to. As you can see on the Q&A Tuesday episode that's going to be coming up, there's going to be a lot of really good questions on here. So, but yeah, that's just something that I want to share, because so many times you hear about people, oh, they only want to sugarcoat. That's the thing. They only want to sugarcoat. Oh, you make all this money and it's, you use an encoder and you don't really have to do this. And they just sugarcoat it until the person actually goes through the program, and then they get there and they're like, what the heck did I do? So that's the reason that I share the way that I do, as passionately as I do, because this is, what it is all about, reading comprehension and being committed to studying, so, but I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. But I just wanted to say that. So again, if you're going to go on the ride to being a medical coder, let's talk about it. Let's ask questions. Let's get committed to learning together, and if it's not for you, it's okay. I wish you the best of luck, whatever you do. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out, but I will invite, if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and hit that little bell that says, I posted a new video, and follow me on my journey in medical coding. All right. I will see y'all again in a couple minutes so I can post for Q&A Tuesday. All right, I will see you in a little bit. Bye.